Yes, team. Welcome to another episode of the Jake O'Connor, the High Functioning Addiction podcast. Today, I want to talk about how high performers can accept themselves and their flaws. I've been working with ambitious individuals now for a couple of years, and I see a theme. I call this the endless pursuit cycle. And this endless pursuit cycle is an initial emotion or a feeling that gets triggered within one's being, right? Whether it's an identity belief of I'm not good enough, whether it's a negative emotion of stress or overwhelm or anxiousness. Maybe it's having to prove a point to someone or to yourself. Whatever this looks like for the individual, it's different for everyone. And if you're listening, you will know what lands for you. So I want you to reflect on what is fueling this as I explain the cycle. This then leads to an insane work ethic and output, right? So you're constantly grinding, you go all the time. And there's never this need or there's never the ability to switch off, because switching off equals feeling one's emotions. And us as humans, especially men, we tend to bottle up our emotions. We tend to not necessarily feel one's emotions, and we tend to avoid through working harder or through alcohol and drugs, which I will get onto in a moment. And then thirdly, this leads to burnout, right? This leads to crashing the Ferrari. This leads to eventually hitting a brick wall in your emotional and mental well-being, and actually sometimes questioning what's the point, lack of motivation, lack of fulfillment, lack of energy, and just feeling rubbish within oneself. And I see this time and time again. And then they pick it up and then they go again and again and again. And this episode's about acceptance and accepting your flaws, accepting yourself. And high performers tend to have a tendency to suppress emotions and flaws through working extra hours or getting stuck into busy work, I like to call it. Work that they kind of know they shouldn't really be doing, like admin tasks and stuff like that, but they're just doing it because it keeps them busy. And they do like 40, 50, 60-hour weeks just on admin. And then they've actually got their role, their task to complete as well. So that may be you right now listening, or maybe you don't own your own business. Maybe you work in sales and there's this hustle and grind culture in sales where you kind of have to work harder and do more and constantly be on. So, I remember firsthand from working in recruitment, they were shocked when I didn't have my work emails on my personal phone. I had a work phone at the time. And even that, just the culture of constantly needing to be on. So we are indoctrinated through early stages of our career to be constantly on, to be constantly pushing, to be go all the time. And then we wonder why it's used as a coping mechanism to relieve to relieve negative emotions, or it's just used as a coping mechanism to bury our head in the sand, or with admin and busy work, so to speak. Or when you're not working, feeling like you don't know what to do with yourself, and actually having a couple of beers or a couple of lines of Coke to actually relieve the pressure from your busy life. Maybe you end up falling into negative cycles that you don't quite want to be in, but actually it's a way to forget about working life for now. It's a way to deal with the pressure and the stresses from work that you are potentially avoiding. And as you know, Monday comes, the stresses are still there, the emails are still there, the worries are still there, but now they're amplified. Then again, they end up taking alcohol or substances to suppress that. And it's just this constant cycle of avoidance, essentially. This episode today is actually to help you integrate both of your parts, right? For those of you that don't know, we have a shadow self and we have our self, right? Shadow self tends to be the addicted part of us, right? So let's split these out. The first part is you as the human, right? If I use myself as an example, the normal part is me as a coach, as a boyfriend, as a son. It's me that loves travel. It's me that loves helping people. It's me that loves my work. And it's me that has such a big heart that I give to so many people and the people around me get supported. It's me that loves adventure, loves exploration and just life, loving life. And then we've got the addicted part. And let's rewind to about 3 years ago now. This was me. It's not now, but it is. So I'll use that example where the shadow self was the addicted part, was the part where I suppressed. It was the part that I avoided and kind of put into a little box that no one knew about. It was the part that hated himself. It was the part that wanted to avoid negative emotions and feelings and thoughts and breakups and all sorts. It's the part that really didn't want to be here anymore. This is important to integrate both of these parts, and it's important. It's called shadow work for people that don't know, and it's essentially about accepting that you may have flaws. We all do as human beings, right? Maybe you do have some negative traits that you want to work through. Maybe you get angry at your partner. Maybe you have self-hatred. Maybe you get frustrated at certain things, or you experience difficult emotions, or whatever that looks like for the individual. And it's about accepting and surrendering to these, because instead of reaching for a bottle of wine or a beer or a bag of Coke, it's about working through these and accepting them and surrendering to them. It's about laying on the floor and letting the emotion pass through you, letting the feeling pass through you. Because it's in the avoidance, that's when the emotions, the feelings, the hatred grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And my work as a coach is essentially to help you feel these feelings and invite them in. Because when you start inviting them in, that's when they actually start to lose power. Because your subconscious mind is like, well, I don't need to fight this anymore. When there's a battle of fighting, clashing, it grows stronger, right? I'm sure you can remember a time where you potentially had a negative feeling or a thought, and then you start beating yourself up for having that thought, and then you start questioning yourself, then you start judging yourself, and then you start just going round and round and round in circles. And most of my clients, just when they get into that state, they'll just get their head into work, or they'll go and drink, or they'll go and party, or they'll go and do some drugs, and it temporarily gets these feelings or thoughts away, but not permanently, not for the long term. Surrendering and accepting, inviting them in, that's when the long-term gains happen. I personally have flaws. I'm human, right? We all have flaws. I can sometimes feel myself getting angry in arguments, and I need to take myself out of the situation for a moment and remind myself to take a couple of deep breaths and to feel the emotion, to surrender to the emotion, understand what's going on instead of me wanting to be understood. Understand what's happening here. I tend to overthink certain situations sometimes, but the difference is I sit with these. I do not try and avoid. I do not try and run away. I stare them in the face and I surrender to them. Because when you surrender, it may be uncomfortable to start off with. For the first 5-10 minutes, you may experience some difficulty or some different sensations within your body. Maybe you'll feel yourself getting tight and anxious and a knot in your stomach, or a blushing face, or sweaty palms, or a tight throat. But when you can then start to close your eyes and really focus on it and feel it and understand where it is in your body and what it looks like, what the voice is saying, it just slows everything down. Instead of reaching for the bottle or for the bag or working extra, sit with yourself in these moments and surrender to the feeling, because it's in the avoidance that it grows stronger and stronger. Because as most of you know that are listening, when you reach for the bag or the drink or the work, it's still there. It's still within your being. It's just temporarily gone away. We can easily be caught in the treadmill of continuous personal development, right? I speak to some people, and I've worked with people in the past that have been constantly trying tons of different therapies, tons of different coaching, tons of this, tons of that, healing all the time, needing to heal, needing to grow, needing to fix. And it's just this constant state of, in air quotes, if none of you are watching, fixing, being broken. And actually, sometimes it's about surrendering to who we are and accepting that we're enough right now. Don't get me wrong, coaches, mentors, they're amazing, and I wouldn't be where I am today without mine. But when some people are constantly on this healing journey, and it is a long-term gain, but in stints, right? And this is where some people go wrong. They're in this constant state of healing, 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 healing. But you're not broken. Sometimes you just need the tools to be able to manage these. Working with a coach to be able to give you the tools, the frameworks, the strategies to be able to master your emotions, to help you feel what you feel and not get overwhelmed or not impact work performance, business performance, family life, etc. You don't need alcohol or cocaine to numb these out. You do not need to work every hour under the sun to avoid discomfort. Just sit with it. Feel where you feel it in your body. Feel where you think it in your mind. What are the thoughts? What is the voice? How do you feel physically? Is there a tension in your stomach? Is there a lump in your throat? Get close to it. Stare the dragon in the face and sit with the emotion and feel it. Because when you start to feel your feelings, that's when the real growth happens. Because it's in the resistance, the emotion grows stronger. Accept, surrender, and this too shall pass. That's it for today. Short and sweet solo episode. I wanted to jump on and share something that I'm observing in my one-to-one clients. And I feel like it'll be useful. Quick note, if you're interested in my one-to-one coaching program, I've got about a 4 to 6 week waitlist as we speak right now on Tuesday, the 22nd of July. In my coaching program, I help high performers achieve 30 days of sobriety within 90 days without just stopping, by rewiring their subconscious mind so it lasts a lifetime. This improves my clients' work, family, and personal life. If you want to apply for my one-to-one coaching, I'm going to put the description, the link in the description, hit the link in the description, fill out the form, and I'll be in touch over the coming days. Also, if you haven't done already, please hit subscribe. Share it with people you may think may benefit. And I'm sending my love to your corner of the universe.